I'm just going to start off with this. I think that this film is leaps and bounds better than the original. Blade Runner 2049 is directed by Denis Villeneuve, and it stars Ryan Gosling, Harrison Ford, and even Jared Leto is thrown in there. This is a film that I don't want to tell you what is about, because every single part of this movie is crucial to the plot. Everything that happens in this movie is important. And I don't want to give that away, because I'm just going to say right now, I highly suggest you going out and see this movie. What I will say are things that I think you need to know a little bit, at least going into the movie, things that you could already see in the trailer. There's replicants, and they are artificially made humans. They're as close to humans as they possibly can be, but they're artificially made. They're kind of robots, but not really. Then there are Blade Runners, who are the people that hunt down the replicants, especially the older models, and when things start going crazy with them. And then in the old movie, Harrison Ford was a Blade Runner, and now this 30 years later, Ryan Gosling is now the Blade Runner, hunting down some replicants. That's really all I want to say. I don't want to give too much of the story, like I said, because everything matters, and it's just something that I think that if you haven't seen the original Blade Runner, I think you can go into this movie and understand everything that's going on, because they lay it all out for you. They explain things, and I think that the movie is just as impactful if you haven't seen the original. However, if you have seen the original, I think it will heighten the excitement of the movie, because there's certain parts that you'll be like, oh, okay, you know, it'll be maybe a little bit more exciting for you, and you might understand things a little bit more, but I think the movie is just as enjoyable as on its own as it is a sequel. Let me get into it here. This is a movie that I was right away excited to see because, number one, the director. Denis Villeneuve is one of the best directors working today. I love his films. Even though some of them I love a little bit more than others, I still think that, even with this film included, that Prisoners is his best film. But this may be his crowning achievement. This is by far his most ambitious work to date, and I think maybe he'll ever do in his career. This movie is such a grand scope, it's so high concept, and it is just mind-blowing, just science fiction. He does such a fantastic job in this movie of throwing in elements and making you think about things and making things not make sense and then explaining them and then having revelations and just creating this world that's so well realized. This is a movie that is building off of the original Blade Runner, and like I said in the beginning, I think it does it even better than the original because it's more intriguing. The detective story works better, I feel. The acting, the effects, every single part of this movie is just a step above the original, and that's not taken away from the original. I just recently saw it. I thought it was a good film. I enjoyed watching it, but I just didn't connect to it on the level that I did this movie. I was so much more engaged by this movie. Let me say about the acting, fantastic. Ryan Gosling is at his best. He's, as much as Denis Villeneuve is at his most ambitious, I think Ryan Gosling is here too, because he does things in this movie that he doesn't do in his other movies. He's like an action star. He's a detective. He does other things in this movie's levels that we haven't really seen from him. I think he's a fantastic actor. La La Land was my favorite movie last year. But this is a movie that he throws him in different situations that we haven't seen from him, and I think that he excels. He's really the star of this movie. Harrison Ford does great. When you see him and he pops up, hey, great. You love seeing Harrison Ford. Jared Leto's in it. He's great. But Ryan Gosling is the star of this movie, and he shines. He is the best part of this movie, and like I said about Harrison Ford in the original Blade Runner, when you see him and when he pops up, you're just rooting for him because he's a movie star. Ryan Gosling is a movie star of today, and I think that he is one of the best parts of this movie. But besides the directing and the acting, the cinematography, the score, the feel, the tone, everything about this movie just worked for me. I felt like all the questions that they posed were interesting, all the things, the plot points and the twists and turns, they were all interesting and engaging, and I highly suggest going to check it out. I'm forced to give this movie a 5 out of 5. I think that it is something that will definitely have a lot of Oscar nominations and things going forward with this movie, and it deserves it. It's something that I think is a cinematic experience that deserves to be seen in the theater with the sound and the picture and everything. This movie is something to marvel at, and I think that it's honestly one of the best sci-fi films I've ever seen. And it's very, very deep and long and slow, and the thing is, it's not a fun movie to watch. So you have to know that going in. This movie isn't Star Wars. It's so much different. It's on a completely different level. And look, I like Star Wars and all those things better than this type of movie because it's easier to like and it's funny and all that. But this movie is different. It's a different kind of experience, and I think that it's worth this kind of experience. I don't watch Prisoners every single day because that's a hard movie to get through. This movie isn't quite as hard to get through as Prisoners, but it's deeper and it makes you think, and it's something that I think is worth going back several times to see. Check it out. Let me know what you guys think about it. Let me know what you think about the original Blade Runner and how this one compares for you. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this and want to see more reviews from a guy like me, Tom Waterloo, then please like and share this video, leave a comment down below, and most importantly, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.